2025 didn't just mark the end of a relationship, it marked the quiet collapse of what many believed was Hollywood's last standing fairy tale. After 9 years together, a 6-year engagement, and one beautiful daughter, Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom officially ended their relationship. But behind the headlines and the public smiles was a love story that had been unraveling for months, possibly years, while the cameras rolled, the stages lit up, and the world believed in an illusion that no longer existed. It started like any modern fairy tale. A flirty spark at a Golden Globes after-party in 2016. Champagne, laughter, a stolen In-N-Out burger, if the tabloids are to be believed. From the beginning, their chemistry was effortless. Him, the charismatic British heartthrob from Pirates of the Caribbean. Her, the global pop icon with a voice as bold as her wardrobe. They balanced each other. Where she was colorful and unpredictable, he was grounded and meditative. Where she brought the fireworks, he brought calm. But like all public romances, the pressure mounted quickly. They first broke up in 2017, citing different life paths. Yet even that split was gentle, mature. No drama, no headlines, just space. And then, somehow, they found their way back. In 2019, on Valentine's Day, Orlando proposed with a unique floral-shaped diamond ring and a helicopter. So perfectly scripted it felt like it belonged in a movie. The world was convinced this time was forever. And then came Daisy Dove Bloom, born in 2020, right in the heart of the pandemic. Katy, who had spent her entire adult life on tour buses, award stages, and red carpets, shifted into motherhood. Orlando, already a father to son Flynn from his previous marriage to Miranda Kerr, embraced the role of co-parent again. For a while, they seemed untouchable, private but supportive, present but never desperate for attention. But something changed. Behind the glamour and the curated social media posts, cracks began to show. While the world saw a smiling couple attending events and celebrating milestones, those close to them began to whisper about distance, emotional, physical, maybe even spiritual. Katy was pouring herself into her Vegas residency, into American Idol, into touring. Orlando was often elsewhere, filming, traveling, engaging in his own philanthropic work. They were living together, but reportedly on different schedules, different energy levels, and eventually, different wavelengths. By early 2025, insiders were quietly confirming what fans had begun to suspect. Katy and Orlando were no longer aligned. Though still deeply respectful and united for their daughter, their relationship had become more about coexisting than connecting. When asked about each other in interviews, their answers grew shorter, more polished, less personal. Then came the silence. No joint appearances, no anniversary posts, no backstage hugs after performances, and that silence, in the age of 24/7 celebrity visibility, became its own kind of announcement. When the official news finally broke, in late June, Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom split after 9 years. It wasn't shocking. It was confirmation. But what made it heartbreaking was that the end didn't come with scandal. It came with stillness. Sources close to the couple say the decision was mutual, peaceful, and rooted in a long conversation about growth. They had simply grown in different directions. Katy had evolved into a powerhouse solo force, still on fire with creativity, still navigating her place in music and motherhood. Orlando, by contrast, had pulled away from the spotlight, preferring to center himself around his children, his wellness, and quieter pursuits. But while the split may have been clean on paper, emotionally, it hit hard. Just days after the announcement, Katy was seen visibly tearing up during a live performance in Australia. Her voice cracked mid-song. The lights dimmed and she paused, hand on heart, whispering a barely audible thank you to the crowd. It wasn't staged. It wasn't for views. It was real. And it showed that even pop stars aren't immune to heartbreak. Meanwhile, Orlando made headlines for attending Jeff Bezos' lavish wedding in Venice. Alone. He posed with celebrities, smiled at cameras, but those who looked closely noticed something different in his eyes. A heaviness. A man trying to keep it together in public while mourning something private. They never issued dramatic statements. No cryptic posts. No blame. Instead, they both leaned into silence again, letting time, not Twitter, do the explaining. For their daughter Daisy, they've committed to co-parenting with love and stability. No messy custody battles, no press leaks, just quiet coordination. In a world addicted to chaos, their calm was both rare and respectable. Still, the internet didn't rest. Fans began analyzing old interviews, body language, Instagram captions. Was the breakup visible earlier than we realized? Was that awkward red carpet moment in 2024 a sign? Did Katy's lyrics hint at discontent? Did Orlando's absence during her major milestones mean something deeper? People searched for signs because they needed answers. Because when something so seemingly perfect ends, it challenges our idea of what lasting love looks like. If even they couldn't make it, two mature, grounded, spiritually aware, emotionally intelligent adults, then what hope do the rest of us have? And maybe that's the lesson. Maybe the most graceful breakups don't happen in flames. Maybe they happen in quiet rooms, was across long conversations with deep sighs and held hands. Maybe love doesn't fail. It just changes form. Maybe ending something doesn't always mean regret. Katy and Orlando didn't break up because of cheating or betrayal. They didn't implode under scandal. They simply outgrew the version of each other they fell in love with. And instead of forcing the relationship into a shape that no longer fit, they let it go. It's painful. It's raw. But it's real. And it's happening more often than we talk about. For Katy, this chapter might become music. It might become activism. It might become solitude. For Orlando, it may mean retreat, reinvention, or perhaps a return to himself. For Daisy, it means two parents who love her enough to protect her from the noise. In Hollywood, where relationships often end in PR disasters and bitterness, Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom are doing something revolutionary. They're walking away with grace. But the question remains, when the cameras fade and the music quiets, who do we become when the person we built our world around is no longer there? Is Katy finally stepping into her own light, free from the expectation of being half of something? Is Orlando reclaiming parts of himself he lost in compromise? Or are they both simply learning, like the rest of us, that love isn't always forever? And maybe that's okay, because not every ending is a failure. Sometimes it's just the start of a new kind of freedom.